Welcome to Stay Paid. I am your host, Luke Acree, and on today's episode, we are answering your burning questions live here on the show. You are going to get real answers. I can't guarantee they're going to be good answers, ladies and gentlemen, but real answers from entrepreneurs and people who have built businesses. As you know, we built Reminder Media to a company that has about 300 employees, multi-million dollars in revenue, but we've also now partnering up with Steven and Cody. They've built a real estate team that's number one in Lynchburg, Virginia. They started a mortgage company that is already making some money, believe it or not. We have a rental portfolio and a property management company. None of this stuff I say to impress you. It's just to impress upon you. We're going to give you our answers from the trenches of what we've learned to help you grow your business. If you want your questions answered on Stay Paid, we'd love to have you on the show. Go to remindermedia.com/ask. Again, that's remindermedia.com/ask, or follow us on Instagram at Stay Paid Podcast and shoot us a DM with your question. We will get you scheduled on the show. We would love to talk to you and help you out. Again, my name's Luke Acree. Normally you hear a better intro than this with my co-partner here, or co-host, I should say co-partner. What is a co-partner? I don't even know. A co-host, Josh Dyke, but he is on vacation, a much needed vacation, and deserves a break. But I'm joined as always by the experts down in Lynchburg, Virginia, Cody Smith, Director of Operations for Acree Brothers, and Steven, Founder, CEO of Acree Brothers Real Estate. So with that, gentlemen, I'm going to take us right to the phones. We have our first caller calling in, Mr. Gene. Let's get him in here. Gene, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hello, guys. How are you today?
Doing fantastic, Gene. Hey, but I would love to hear, what is your one question, or maybe it's the blocker that's happening to you in your business to keep you from growing? Give us your question that we can help you with.
Well, I've been in the business now for just over 7 years, and it's exciting when you're going to become a new agent, and even after you're an agent for a while, and then it can become overwhelming. There's a gap in the curriculum. We learn how to sell, how to negotiate, how to be compliant, all the other nuances. And the one thing that we're not taught is, why aren't we as agents taught the essential accounting and bookkeeping methods to be successful, to run our businesses as a independent contractor? That's the one thing that's
I totally agree. They don't even teach that to students in high school these days. Like it's shocking.
No, and I remember taking accounting classes, basic bookkeeping, I should say, classes in high school. But there's nothing.
Yeah, it's shocking that they don't. Yeah, it's like business acumen, and even like goes deeper than that. Like mindset and stuff is not taught like it should be. Tell me a little bit. So you've been in the business, I think you said like 7 years, real estate
Correct.
agent out of Missouri. So what are you running into pain point wise? Are you having problems in the accounting system that you're using? Do you even have one? Do you know, like, what was the GCI that you took home in the last 6 months? Like, where are you trending right now?
Well, I used the past couple of years. 2021, the COVID years, everybody was making money, so I hired an accountant, and I now use Quicken Books, which is a big help. And it does.
Is it called Quicken Books or is it QuickBooks? Is that different?
QuickBooks? I'm sorry.
QuickBooks. Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Okay, perfect. Yep.
Right.
That's what we use at Acree Brothers, so that's good. Okay.
Yeah, and it gives you all your stats and breakdowns and stuff like that. It's great. But as a new agent, you're already dumping all types of money into getting your business started. To hire an accountant just doesn't, and if you have a bad year and you still got to pay the accountant, and then you've got your what it costs to have QuickBooks.
It's painful.
Yeah. So
what has been your volume so far this year, Gene?
My volume this year has been slow. I'm just over 1 million in volume so far this year. I've got some really nice things coming up, and it's going to push me over 2 here in the next month or so. Yeah. But it's still, for me, that's slow. I've got that taste of blood in my mouth. I want more, and I want more, and I want more.
We got Gene. He's like a shark. So Gene, is your question, just so I can understand it, is your question, hey, I really need to get my accounting in order, and I'm struggling to do that. is your question, should you have hire an accountant right now? Like, I want to get to the heart of like your question to help you. What's the because we all agree that there's a problem with not teaching this in the industry, but what's the struggle for Gene right now with the accounting and the numbers?
I think still the very basic bookkeeping, where to put your numbers, how to read your numbers,
Okay.
how to use those numbers, and also how to budget those numbers. You've got your advertising, you've got your marketing, just your basic day-to-day costs, your licensing, all that stuff. How to budget that in there somewhere, and then and then have your accounting, to show how you're actually producing.
Yeah, this is such a good question. Stephen, I'm going to throw to you because I know we made the mistake of not doing good accounting early on with Acre Brothers and our property management and everything that we've been doing. And, Cody, you could probably cry a little bit for the pain we've gone through with that. But Stephen, you want to tell everybody kind of how you look at the P&L and like from a real estate perspective. You guys are a little different. You have a team of 4 agents, right? Gene's a solo agent, but still the concepts are the same. So you want to walk them through that?
Yeah, I mean, first on, we did struggle for years, and this has been a pressure point from Luke, because obviously we're partnering together, and he's like, you got to know your numbers, we got to get this shit together, that kind of thing. But as far as like QuickBooks, we take a stance and we go, hey, we want to be 30% expenses, 40% cost of sales, and 30% profit, right? And so that's how we look at it and budget everything out. When it comes to QuickBooks, the reason people don't use it is because the focus point when you're starting should be revenue and revenue only. Because one, you probably shouldn't be spending money. You should be doing the activities on Sphere. You should be doing the activities on open houses. You should be doing the activities on circle prospecting. And those don't cost much money at all. So
all sweat equity activities.
All sweat equity, right? So I think that's the reason, but we all agree, that it should be an educational, standpoint. There are plenty of places, Gene, where you can download a chart of accounts for real estate agents. Honestly, if you just ChatGPT'd it, if you just Googled it, right, it's going to populate that. And then you can upload that chart of accounts to your QuickBooks. They allow you to do that. And you could follow that system. The key thing that we learned throughout this process was that it's just like the CRM. You've heard the best CRM is the CRM that you use. And so there is no magic formula, just like everything else. When it comes to running accounting, it really is knowing your numbers. And so I just had a meeting with our property management division, and this was a point in which I made to them yesterday, which was we're going to review the P&L every single day. There will be no expense that comes through QuickBooks and the bank feed that we will not know what that is attached to. And the only way to cut down on expenses is to do it this way, because there's at least running a business, right, where you have so many expenses going out and you're not in control of everything. It's probably the number one thing that you can do, looking at the mathematical equation, because that's going to determine, like if you were to start a team, your splits, right? That's going to determine your salaries. It's going to determine everything. And so I would just encourage you, one, get the chart of accounts, look through it. But I would we label everything. And Cody, if you want to go off on this, you can, because we label everything extremely specific in our QuickBooks. And because what we realized when we downloaded the chart of accounts is there was a lot of broad stuff where when you're trying to look at numbers and move a big ship, we're trying to move a big ship here, you have to be able to accurately determine things very quickly. And so if you're not in there daily going, instead of this just being vehicle expense, was that gas? Was that the fee that we're paying out to the showing agent that goes out because we pay for their gas fee, right? Was that actually something that went wrong with the vehicle and when we had some maintenance with it? We want to know all of those numbers very specifically so we can say, instead of paying them for this, let's buy a company vehicle.
And if you wait till the end of the month, Gene, or even bi-weekly to put in those details, in other words, it won't happen. Like
Right.
what we have found from our experience is on your calendar every day at the close of every day, you need to balance the account every day. And this is the same for like Reminder Media has a VP of finance, has an accountant, and guess what they do every day? They are going through and balancing the account. When I worked at Verizon Wireless and Radio Shack years and years ago, right? It's every day at the end of every day, we had to print off all the receipts. We had to get the cash register drawer back to $120 in the cash register drawer. You had to bounce. And where real estate agents fail is they don't think of it as a daily process. And that's where you'll mess up.
And then you're being sold, Luke, by every company that's out there. So what happened when I first started is everything looked like magic to me. I was like, man, all of these lead platforms are incredible. They're guaranteeing this amount of leads and this amount of closings.
Uh-huh.
And when you become educated, you realize it's not about the lead platform. It's about how I can execute that lead platform. It's because like a lot of companies work, but you have to work them. And so it really filters out all your decision making when you come to spend, because you go, well, I have to run at 30% expenses. So I have to increase my revenue here. You know what I mean? I have
Stephen, can you give some color to the cost, what you include in your cost of sale? Because you said 30, 40, 30, right? 30% expenses, 40% cost of sale, 30% profit is what you're shooting for.
Yep.
Can you give a little color into what you guys include into your cost of sale?
So cost of sale would be all of our agent splits, right? It would be all of our bonuses that we send out for the ISAs that are on there. It's going to be all of the things that lead to the activity of the sale that come in with getting the actual, sell of the property.
Yeah,
and then they're going to be more variable expenses than your expenses, right? They're going to be fixed.
right. So, Gene, are you an individual agent? Do you run a team? Where are you at in like that kind of the business format? Is it just you? Where are you at?
Yes, I'm a primary agent with
Sweet.
Remax here at the Lake of the Ozarks, and I had been on a team for a couple years. That's where I actually started learning the process. I came from a small boutique in Illinois, and a great, a great company and stuff like that. But once again, we didn't have that structure for the accounting part of it.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the reason I asked that is just I want to fit to like what you're doing. So what he's talking about a cost of self, like for a team, what we're paying out in splits for you would be
Right.
what you're paying your brokerage, right?
Right.
So whatever your split is, 30, 70, whatever, what that would be your cost of sale. And the expense would be, for you, most likely marketing team or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be much lower.
The one thing I want to speak to you about specifically, man, is like do you know right now, all right, what's your goal in profit for the year?
What my goal on profit is for the year?
Your goal in profit. How much do you want to make?
Well, how much do I want to make? I want to make. I want to make the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, I love that. What's the number?
Yeah.
You gotta have a number.
120,000 is my goal, and anything
Sweet.
above that is the gravy gold. Yeah,
because the one thing we always say when we're talking about budget, when we're working through accounting, is profit first.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters, right? Profit first. So you're going to start your accounting, obviously, and I think you might know this, Gene, but you're going to start at your profit to figure out this is how much I want to break. And then you make decisions based on your expenses, right? Of what you need to do to get there. But it starts there, and then it starts with activities, and then working down the line. All right, so if I do this activity, I do this many times, I set up this many appointments, I meet with them this many times, I get them signed, I get them under contract, I get them closed to get.
It's just a big math problem,
right?
And to summarize for you, Gene, so you can take away is you need to go get the chart of accounts set up for your QuickBooks if you haven't. Use AI to do that, or go and Google. There's tons of them out there, and then you need to implement a daily process to mark everything that's going in and out of your bank account. What you focus on expands.
Yep.
Right? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're looking at your bank account every single day, you're going to get really good at what's producing and what's not producing for you. Gene, you've been amazing, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I hope this has been helpful.
Well,
would love to.
Don't you think, though? I mean, what you're telling me right here, though, to a person who's 7 years in already, and even maybe somebody that's 2 or 3 years in, it can be too late.
It's not too late. No,
it's not
because
too late, but I
It's
still
more
think that it
painful.
needs to be
You'll
brought up.
suffer. Oh, 100%. We're in total agreement. This needs to be done day one. Brokers should be teaching this. It should be in the real estate class. It's a shame that it's not. And I'm not beating up every brokerage out there, but some teach it. But it should be. But it's not too late. It's only just more painful when you haven't done it. We lived through that as Acre Brothers. We have lived through doing the accounting wrong and have finally gotten it to where it's in a good footing, and it makes a world of difference. But just go through the pain of the everyday process of tracking your expenses, labeling them with specifics. That will then teach you to apply what Cody has taught you, which is lead with revenue. If you have that goal of 120,000, what are the activities that are producing the actual income? Where are my expenses going out? And you'll only know that by what you focus on. But let's connect on social, because we can talk more also offline to try to help you out in this instance.
Absolutely.
But it's awesome having you on the show. And I know this has been helpful for other people, not just you.
Thanks,
Hey,
Gene.
thank you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. It's
Thanks, Gene.
I'm thoroughly
Appreciate
enjoying
that.
it and learning a lot.
Awesome.
Appreciate you,
Yeah,
Gene.
man.
Thanks, brother. Have a great one.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah, it is funny, Luke, because most people are in Gene's position. I mean, it took us 7 years to get to the place where we had it super accurate. And it's just
accounting is so hard to get right, and it's because it takes the daily activity, and that's where we fail as business owners. I want to bring in, speaking of business owners, get to our next caller, right? Because to help as many people as we can. Get your questions in if you want to be live on the show. If you want a question answered, you don't even have to have your face on the show if you don't want to. I don't want to scare people. Go to remindermedia.com/ask or go to Stay Paid Podcast on Instagram and submit your question. We would love to have you on the show to help you out. I'm going to go to Jay Quigley here. Jay is a real estate agent out of Florida. Jay, want to welcome you to Stay Paid Podcast. Jay, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, how do you know Brian Quigley?
Brian Quigley.
First off, are you related to him?
Yeah, are you related to Brian Quigley in Bluebell, Pennsylvania?
No, just in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, it's another Brian Quigley. So Brian is an amazing agent here that's helped me buy a property before, and so we've been good friends for many, many years now. So, hey, man, great last name though, Quigley, because Brian's a stud of a guy. So I'm sure you are as well. What is your question that is, maybe in business, maybe it's holding you back from going to the next level? What do you want to know about that we can help you with?
Well, as you can tell, I don't have the camera on because in the industry, radio industry, I have a face for radio. So I did radio right out of high school and, bounced around in a couple of careers before I landed into real estate. And I've been enjoying your podcast now for easily over a year. And, I was curious, has that podcast helped your company build its brand and client base? That's my first question. And then my second question is, if someone like me was thinking about starting a podcast, are there any nuggets of wisdom that you could provide?
Great question. So tell me a little bit about where your business is today, volume wise, and what type of GCI or profit are you getting out of your business today? Because that also will help me craft the answer of whether we think you should spend time doing a podcast or not. I'll still give you my thoughts on what ours has done for us, but how much volume have you done year to date, Jay?
Wow. I wish I had been told I needed to give you some clear numbers, but just looking at the last year, which was a decent year, 24 transactions,
nice.
$16 million.
Awesome. So you're a great producer, man. Congrats on that. Always know your numbers. We just got off a call in where we were talking about accounting systems, and I used the phrasing, what you focus on expands, and where your focus goes, your energy flows. So I think a lot of rich people, they tell you check your bank account every day. I tell that to real estate agents all the time. Check your bank account, but more importantly, check your numbers of activity, because when it's top of mind, you can't avoid it. You can't ignore it. So let's get into then podcasting. I'll share kind of our experience with Reminder Media. The biggest pain in podcasting is called pod fade. And Steven and Cody, you guys can speak to this because you started a podcast that didn't keep going. That's because you joined a better one with Stay Paid. The pod fade, it's basically 90% or so of podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. And so, the biggest pain in podcasting is producing content consistently. And especially when you're getting no traction. For 3 years, we did Reminder Media Stay Paid. So for those who don't know that are listening, I run a marketing company called Reminder Media. Work with real estate agents, of course, but thousands of other businesses. And the podcast was really our way to go, hey, we need a way to get educational value out to the space that people, it would build an audience, build a tribe, and also help our clients know how to implement their products. And so we started it about 8 years ago. For the first 3 years, nobody listened. For the first 3 years, I really, believe it or not, even though we were decently big at the time in terms of company size, I didn't have any connections. I interviewed my personal property and casualty insurance agent for the
Jay,
company.
it was bad when he
Yeah,
first
it was.
started.
Yeah, don't go listening to first episodes, guys. It's go binge them if you want to see how awkward.
I'm gonna
Luke
go.
Acre was.
I'm gonna go find him right now. I'm gonna go find
Yeah,
him right
exactly.
now.
But it's an evolution. So 2 things is, one is I started it with a guy interviewing me called Sefton. He was one of my content writers at the time. We lasted like 3 episodes, and then I brought Josh, my CMO, on, and I loved it so much with Josh that I was like, hey, Sefton, I'm going to have Josh host it with me. And so that's a key takeaway for people is like, hey, when you got to make the move, even if it's not what you started out with, you got to evolve it and iterate it. So Josh came on. He's an incredible co-host. We did episodes Mondays and Thursdays for the first really probably 6 years of the show. First 3 years, nobody listened. I'm talking like nobody. I have 8 or 7 siblings. There's 8 kids in our family. My even siblings weren't listening. I don't think you even listened, Steven. Shame on you. Maybe our mom listened is the joke I make because, my mom loved me. But we kept going. That's the point I'm trying to drive home. For 3 years, imagine getting on Mondays and Thursdays, releasing episodes, no views, no listeners, not sure who you're going to interview next. I interviewed people in our company, like our sales management, client success management. I interviewed my insurance agent. And then finally, we started to get a little traction. And the key is in podcasting is not actually the listeners. The key is the relationships of the people you have on.
Yep.
That is really the gold behind podcasting is like, Jay, you're meeting us and we're able to meet you. And if we were doing a full interview, it's 30 minutes of no pressure. Like from a sales standpoint, we get to know each other. We hear each other's journey. And now there's just a connection there that if I reached out to you after the fact, you would probably take my call in a different way because you know Luke. And so we started to realize out of the gate, well, I shouldn't say out of the gate, 3 years in, that, oh man, we are really getting to know these people. And I remember interviewing Andy Dane Carter, who has a big following on social, and he reshared our podcast. And then I was able to go, okay, we've had Andy on. Who's connected with Andy that's a bigger name that I can then, essentially go, hey, we had Andy on. We'd love to have you on. Get Andy to introduce me to him. And then from there, it started kind of that snowball effect. And it's probably our number one brand builder. It has gotten me speaking on different stages, a bunch of different places. We have a partnership. Do you know BAM, the BAMX community, Jay?
I've been following them recently.
Okay. So awesome. So they're incredible, right? But we interviewed Eric, the broke agent, on our podcast. From there, I was like, Eric, man, I love what you're doing. How do we do stuff together? He introduced me. We partnered up with BAM. And so that came from the podcast. So it's like, there are so many of those I can speak to that go, wow, the podcast was so instrumental, but it is not a direct response piece. It is a labor of love that you will never truly be able to go one-to-one. I did these episodes. I generated this much revenue, unless you're selling ads, which we don't. But it has the connections and relationships it has made for us over the 8 years has been unbelievable. And Cody and Steven, talk about what the struggles were for the podcast you launched. And why did it ultimately not keep going? And, I know you still have the brand and all that stuff, but talk about that because I think that will help Jay.
Yeah. I mean, so we started. So I think what you said is perfect. So Grant Cardone has the same saying, like he talks about stages, get on other people's stages. Because just like the BAM, we did that BAM webinar yesterday, and I was telling Cody, I peeked at my Instagram this morning, and I had like 100 and something followers. Right through BAM's stage and platform because they already have influence. Now I have but I have a lot of BAM's followers now looking at me. And the reason that we stopped is because you really need a profit center right, for what you're doing through like what is the reason you're starting a podcast? We're not just starting it just to have influence. And I think some of the best ones are when you just do it organically and all that good stuff. But when we started, we had no way of really going, why are we doing this? Are
What's
we
our
doing this?
audience?
Yeah. Are we doing this to acquire agents to our team? So do we need to be real estate focused? Are we doing this for the consumer so that we can generate lead flow to our team? And we just didn't have a clear picture and couldn't see the trajectory that was there. And so we stopped it. And with that, Luke invited us on the podcast, and I said, Luke,
it was really out of pity.
I do
It was out of pity that I invited them on.
podcast better than you do, dude. So let me just get on your stage. No, but I think ultimately that's how I would filter it. Is like, what's your ultimate goal through the podcast? Do you have a profit center that's going to come from it? Because, like you just said, Luke, you spent 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears to do this thing, but you did have an end goal of going.
Yeah, my justification was, one, retention of clients, current clients at Reminder Media. If I gave them more value, I could retain them. So that was a goal. Yeah. Second goal was a brand building, which is not, it's a little bit intangible, but it's why we get billboards or run ads and stuff like that. And then third was, how do I leverage the connection of the relationships to get on their stages? So like Cody Askin with 8%, he has one of the biggest stages in insurance. Interviewed him on the show, ended up speaking at his event through that connection and that relationship. So Jay, if I'm giving you tips of like, hey, what should you do to launch a podcast? Stephen has the greatest tip. Begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, what's your end in mind? Is it building relationships with other business owners in your local market? Is it sharing market knowledge to build credibility with your sphere and your database? Like, what is the end goal? Is it a combined of those? Define that. And then realize that most podcasts fail because of pod fade. So like take this call-in show. This is a new series that we released on Stay Paid. We have 5 pre-recorded in the bank already. And so this won't release right away for everybody listening. But why did we do that? Because the biggest fear you have in anything is that you start something and stop and you don't have consistency. And consistency crushes or breaks trust if you don't have it. And so if we're going to do a call-in show, we have to know we're committed to doing it and have it in the backlog. So if something goes wrong with our show or something like that, we still have episodes that we can release. And so I would pre-record 4 to 5 episodes before I launch. Hype up your launch through your email list, through Facebook before you launch it, so you can get some views. Ignore the amount of views you have. But we have a show coming out with Matt Holleran. The guy produces podcasts for businesses like yours in the financial services space and stuff like that. He's done over like 1,000 different podcasts, like produced them for people. And he says a good rule of thumb from a viewership standpoint is how big is your sphere? And if you can get that in viewership, you're crushing it about a year in. So if you have 200 people in your database, if you can average about 200 views, you're crushing it. Like that's a good metric for you to follow. So hopefully these are helpful in helping you think about podcasting in general.
Yeah. And I was going to add one thing for you, Jay.
Yeah,
the reason
sure.
we got into that conversation is what Luke asked in the very beginning, as far as like, hey, what are your numbers? Because it doesn't matter if you don't have money coming in the door, because then you're not going to be in real estate. You're not going to have a podcast, right? So like for you, it's like, if you're going to focus on this, it's going to take a lot of time. Like it's not just an hour, right, Luke? How much time, a week did you spend setting that up? So it's one of those things where if you're going to add this, we talk about adding another pillar, it can't take away from the pillars you already have in place, but it's this is so full. And then you're going to add this on top of it. You're not going to take away, you're going to add, because the podcast, at least at first and for a long time, it's not going to bring a lot of value, if any. It's a year to 2.
We're still trying to figure out if Stay Pay's worth it, honestly.
Right. But it's such a great note, because like the one thing you can do is pick up something and then you forget what you're currently doing and then you go down, right? It's an adding on top of what you're currently doing to build your business to where you want it to go.
In the equipment's not usually the problem. Don't worry about the equipment. There's easy way. We use Riverside, as you can tell. We started out on Zoom. Is how we did them. And so we do some in person, but most are just interviewing over Zoom. We find that to be easier. And then like anything, you can do the work, but then it's how you promote, right? The work you've done. So as long as you're willing to promote, so if you interview the local business owner, then make sure you do the work to get the local business owner to share it on their Facebook, their Instagram, their LinkedIn. Make sure you collaborate with them when you post it on Instagram. Make sure you're sending it out to your sphere. All these things, you've got to ask yourself, do I have the time to do this? And if you don't have the time personally, then you need leverage, people and systems. And so who can you pay or leverage to do this for you? But if something's worth doing, it's worth doing well. So don't do something and not try to do it well. Like that is the key.
And if
But
you
Jay,
do,
man,
I want to be
amazing.
your first podcast.
Yeah, Steven wants to be on your show. Jay, man, he tries to leverage every stage he can get. They're not, I don't know. I can't control him. But hopefully, Jay, that's helpful for you. Are you going to go start a podcast now?
Well, I have the equipment. I've been playing around with Zoom. I've done a couple of trials, just kind of myself. I think it'd be way easier if I had somebody cool like Cody or Steven to bounce things off of. But definitely, this was great information. I know it's a lot of work, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've hesitated moving forward. Because to y'all's point, you really do need to do it with both feet on the ground and hit the ground running, and that's what I
100%.
want to do. And I do have some freed up time, and I'd like to plug something worthwhile into it. And with my love for
Jay,
radio, because I was a former
when
radio
you start,
guy.
yeah, and you have a great voice for radio. I can tell. When you start the podcast, send it to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to share it here on the show, be full circle moment. So when you start that and get the episodes launched, please send that to us. You can send it to us at staypaidpodcast.com or, just chat it over in the emails that you've been going back and forth with, I think, with Chris. But we'd love to shout that out on the show.
Yes.
And that way it's full circle moment. And then, have Cody and Steven on. They're okay. They're pretty cool. But Jay, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. And I'm glad you're on here. And I know this will help a ton of people. So follow us on Instagram. We'd love to connect offline.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
I want to know how a $16 million producer has time on his hands. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what we should have got into. If he's producing 16 million and he's thinking about doing a podcast, that would be amazing.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's go right to our next caller. Calling in, we got Courtney Thompson, real estate agent, calling in from Virginia. Courtney, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on the show. Thank you for calling in. What is the thing that we can help you with in your business to take you to the next level? What question do you have?
Sure. Well, thank you so much, first of all. I am a brand new agent in Richmond. I just recently transitioned out of teaching, and I've been binging your podcast. So thank you for that. It's been really
Awesome.
helpful. I have learned so much. My question is, what do you think the most overlooked move for turning a casual connection, so like a social media like, or maybe a quick chat back and forth, into a loyal client or even a referral partner?
Man, such a great question. Okay, so you're brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being a teacher, by the way. My wife
Oh.
was a special education teacher before she stay-at-home mom. And so now you guys know why Megan can put up with me. Those are the two of the hardest jobs and require a ton of patience and a ton of heart. But I would love to know, have you sold any homes yet?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. And how many months have you been in at this point in time?
3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weeks. Okay, not even a month. So you are in the thick of it. You have your license.
Yeah.
You've chosen the brokerage. You're really
Yes.
trying to get off the ground.
Yes.
So love your question, but would love to kind of take it in a different route because I think it'd be super valuable. Sure. If Cody, you can maybe talk about, because you are onboarding 3 new agents right now,
right,
onto the team.
That's our.
Can you give?
Yep.
I don't know how we want to frame it, but maybe a 30-day type view of like, hey, Courtney, if I'm you starting out in this business, this is what you should go do, knowing that we want to lead with revenue. So we want to get her deals flowing in right away.
Yep. 100%. So yeah, we're into the 3rd week of our training. So they started similar to you. In the very first week, the only thing we focus on is Sphere. The only thing we do is call Sphere. We won't make one other activity. We won't do anything. We won't call any type of lead. We don't even focus on social media. We do nothing else besides call the people that we know, because that's going to be your biggest lead generator, your big referrals. And it's being intentional in, one, how I typically start the conversation, It's just your typical, hey, how's it going? How's work? Blah, blah, blah. They're going to ask you how's work. Because anytime you ask them work, they're going to ask you back and go, oh, awesome. I actually just got into real estate and I'm super excited because I get to help people with some of their biggest goals, which is to buy and sell homes. I'm super excited about it. For us, it's like we joined the #1 real estate team. We actually do events quarterly throughout the year. I wanted to make sure I invited you to our next one. So adding some type of pitch of value. So how can I add value to you? This is what we do. And you're starting the beginning relationship, because when we think about real estate, we talk about career focused, not year focused, right? We want to crush this year 100%, but we want to crush our careers and how we can add value. So even if it's not right now, if it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and I say this in the conversation, I don't care if it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, I want to be the person you use or you think of when it comes to real estate, and you're adding that value and then following up in a cadence from there. So
Beautiful.
So from there, I would tier out your three spheres. You're going to have your VIPs, or the people that are going to shout your name from the rooftops. They're going to be your people. They're going to refer you. They're going to love you. They're so excited for you. Your VIPs, typically it's going to be like your top 10% of your sphere. And then you're going to have tier ones, which tier ones are people that you're going to call quarterly, invite to things. They're going to cheer for you, but maybe not be like your focus point. And then your tier twos are ones that you follow up annually. Yeah. And you want to try to have a list of 100. So one last thing.
And that's so perfect too, because you're a teacher and teachers are known to be the best real estate agents because you're an excellent communicator. You've been up in front of people. You're disciplined. You've got to do all the students' plans, and you got to do them after hours. So your work ethic, there.
That's true.
I'm curious because we hear social media all the time, Courtney. What made you go to social media first? Because there might be a reason, and maybe we can go that direction to give some advice there. But what made you think social media first?
I think it has a lot to do with that is how I feel like I've been marketed to, and not just in real estate and everything. I feel like I'm on Instagram, all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I need that thing, or this is right for me. Oh, this course looks interesting. And I feel like that's how I'm getting word of the things that I'm buying. That's how I'm finding out about what's interesting to me.
Yeah, and it's great, and you should be doing it, but most people have the wrong foundational thought when it comes to social media, where social media is going to get me a lead. I'm going to pull a lead into my database and close someone. When social media for us, I'm just sharing what it is for us, right? So there are people that crush it on social media that gain tons of leads and tons of business, right? And you'd have to go to them, for some advice. But for me, the way I look at it foundationally is social media is just to make my sphere of influence. These are the people that know, like, and trust you already, show that I'm an active realtor doing business in my local area.
It's an amplifier. It's an amplifier.
So,
but I would add on to that, Stephen, too, Courtney, write down that that you're doing business, but also who you are as a person.
Yeah.
The pillars of who you are as a person, because people will continue to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And like is built upon commonality, like is built upon shared values, all the stuff we know. So sharing that you were a teacher, things like that matter. Sharing, like, if you go to church, sharing that. If you have a family, sharing that, because that just naturally builds trust, because one component of trust is built off rapport. And so your social is a way to amplify. And Stephen, to double down on your point, is what Stephen is saying is, don't go in with an intention going, I'm going to market on social and get a ton of leads. Go in going, I'm going to share my journey on social to amplify who I am to my followers. If you want to use social media for leads, there are ways to do that through paid advertising and stuff like that. But what you'll find is the absolute rock stars, the killers, the Marie Boatsmans, the Shannon Gillettes. These are two people you can follow. They crush it on YouTube, social, all that stuff. But they aren't really doing direct response type social.
Yep.
I highly doubt, we'll have to ask them, but it's been a while since we've had it on the show. I highly doubt they're even doing sophisticated, like, lead generation through social. They've built a brand that is amplified through social, and people love Shannon Gillette because of her values and her family and just the quality content she puts out. And that's what, so social is a long-term game in that aspect. 100% do it. but apply what Cody's telling you even more importantly, which is, have you made the list yet? Like, how big's your sphere? Have you made that?
I've made it. It's
Okay.
not super huge, but I've made it.
How
Yes.
many people are on it?
60?
60. Beautiful. That's awesome. So 60 people. So all those people you should try to follow on social and get followed by them if you haven't already. All those people you should give a phone call to and do exactly what Cody said. And I would not shy away from the reason for my call is I wanted to catch up to see how we haven't talked in a while. And I also, this is a huge thing happening in my life. And I wanted to make sure you were aware of it. I would come right out with saying that because otherwise it's going to come across inauthentic, insincere. You just got to come straight out. Hey, I actually got into real estate. You can even leverage if you're nervous. You can even leverage, and my mentor here at the brokerage is telling me that I should reach out to all my sphere and make sure they know in all my best relationships. And I consider you one of my greatest relationships. So use the terminology best relationship because that's going to make that person feel special. I'm reaching out to you specifically because they said I should reach out to all my, best, relationships and friends. And I consider you in that bucket, Courtney. And I just wanted to let you know what was going on, with my life and what I'm doing. And they'll go, oh, that's great. Awesome. And then you can go, hey, well, what's happening in your life? I'd love to catch up. Like what's happening, and if you know them personally, what's happening with the kids, what's happening at church. And then you can offer because you don't maybe have the client event yet that you're throwing, even though you should throw 4 client events a year, start with 1, but you should do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
just do a party at your house. Do like a cookout, or
yes,
you just do something super simple. Like
we
Okay.
have a episode on client events. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But you want to add a value. So a value that you can add to everybody right now is giving them a free value of what their home's worth. So, hey, would love to, just send you a free value of what your home is worth. That way, because one of your greatest assets always is your house. And a lot of times people, they have a financial planner, but they don't have a financial planner for their house. That's what I want to be for you. I'll send you a free value of your house. If you have any questions on it, let me know. But it will just give you a comparable of what it's worth today in today's market so you can track the value of that. And that is something you can add as an item of value that you can send, and immediately you are elevated in credibility when you send that CMA to them.
Okay. That's a great idea.
The
Awesome.
last ad for you real quick would be just for social media to make a simple, quick game plan. Is you're gonna do 5 things on social media 3 times a day. Super simple. It'll take you 30 minutes, and it's all that you should be focusing on social right now, in my opinion. Which is you're gonna like three things. You're gonna reply, comment to 3 posts. You're gonna make 3 posts a day, whether that's 2 stories and 1 post, 2 posts, 1 story. You're gonna add 3 friends, and you're gonna direct message 3 people. Do that every day.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the systematic, right? Yeah, so it's like foundationally, like we probably should send anybody that wants it. Well, let's send out like the SOP, Luke, for any of our new agents on the team. Just like, because like foundationally, you have to start with a plan of action. So it's like, if I were to ask you, Courtney, what are your goals for this year? You're a new agent, you're 3 weeks in, you'd probably be like, I'm not sure, what to define there, right? And so you need to backtrack and go, here's my goal. And then once you have the goal, here's the plan of action. That plan of action should be filtered by some top producer or broker in your office to say, these are the actions that actually got me there. And then it's just the activities after that. And the reason he says it that way in the social media, because everything comes down to consistency. I posted the team and Alex Ramosi quote today, and he's so big on it's like, do the boring stuff over and over and over again. Like there is no magic formula to social media. It literally is just the consistency behind it. But you have to first foundationally start with your goals.
And there's a lot, I don't want to overwhelm you, but there's a lot of tips we could get into on another call of how you get people to engage with you on social, doing polls in your story, DMing people like Cody's saying. Lindsay Joe, we had on the podcast, she's awesome at social as well. And she does a lead guide through her. It's like a local guide that she puts together. So you think, here are the best restaurants in Richmond, Virginia. And that can be a guide that people can request. Here are the best school districts. And you create that little PDF. You can go find Lindsay Joe's episode on Stay Paid She's awesome. She's out of DC, I think, so she's not too far from you. But Courtney, awesome question. Congrats getting into the business. Thank you for being a teacher, and now go teach people how to buy and sell real estate. The key is, like Steven said, just be relentless in the activity.
Yep.
Don't overthink it. Just
Okay.
relentless. Call all 60 people,
Yep.
add to that database. It doesn't have to be perfect marketing, doesn't have to be the perfect script. It must be frequency. Frequency creates greatness. Whatever you do, do not get paralysis by analysis. Just every day have 20 conversations in real estate. That won't probably happen every day, but if you talk to 20 people and try to talk to them about real estate 20 times a day, you will be a top producer. Guaranteed. Guaranteed you will be a top producer. So hope you have a great day. Thank you for coming on the show. Let's connect on social, but appreciate it having you on.
Thank you so much.
See you,
Bye.
Courtney.
Bye.
That was great. Yeah, and you can tell, like, it's like, whew, once you start going, you're like,
I
it's a
know.
little overwhelming. That's why I love what you said, Cody, of, hey, keep it simple. Don't even do social. Don't even call that sphere. And
Let's
come
not
back
get
to
into
us.
anything
Come
else.
back to us in a couple of days after you've done that, because that is the key.
At the end, I just want to be like, and reminder, the only thing I said here that you should
Yeah.
focus on is the talk. Like everything else, come back. Like she was great though. You can tell she's in it though. She's writing notes, like paying, like, dude, eyes glued. I loved it. She's in it to win
She
it.
is.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So good. Guys, get your questions answered here live on the show. Whatever question you have, from hard to easy, whatever you think, we want to talk to you. ReminderMedia.com/ask, ASK/ask, or go to @StayPaidPodcast on Instagram and DM us on Instagram or Facebook. We love to have you on the show. These have been such great questions today, and we've got another great one. Now, forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong, but I want to bring to Stay Paid Shravani. Is that how you pronounce it?
You got it. Yeah.
I got it.
Shravani, yes.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Shravani, welcome to Stay Paid. We would love to help you grow your business. What is your, question that you have that can take you to the next level?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. All of you, great. Thanks for having me here. I am very excited to share my question because I know you guys are the experts. So, in brief, so my company, we help professionals build their personal brands. And my question is, like, sometimes our prospects, they mistakenly confuse our high benefit multimedia brand building features as an average paid press media agency. So how can we showcase our real value, outshine competition, and attract the right clients?
Great question. And, very similar to us, at Reminder Media, trying to help people build their brand. Could you give me some understanding of the difference for you and what you're saying, the average paid media press versus you?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about any average press media, what they do is they are going to charge you just probably a couple of $100s. They will say, you write your article, give it to us, we'll just get it press featured.
Yeah, so like PR, they'll go
It's just,
feature it on
it's
all
just the basic
these
PR. Now, what
PR-wise type wire stuff. Yep.
what
okay.
we do is we firstly we identify who these professionals are who are in the industry for at least 15 years, so they have at least a good story in their industry expertise to tell. We work with them, we write their stories, and we have an article done on our digital magazine. We have, yes, a press feature, which is a wide media press feature. We also get them featured on the NYC billboards, or we also do their LinkedIn outreach. So basically help them build an entire brand with their personal and professional story. So their personal brand, not overshadowed by their company that they work for. So authors, coaches, consultants, even people looking for TEDx talks. We also have a podcast. So we give them the whole bunch of features, which is billboards.
So what is the then pain point? Your client is saying to you that they don't see the value over just the regular paid. Like, how are they expressing that
when
to you?
When they interact with us, when they work with us, they absolutely love us. But when I'm talking about cold outreach, so sometimes people think is that why is your pricing different? Because I could just pay $97 and get myself featured here. versus why do I have to pay a few $100s or a couple of $1,000s?
So how do you separate yourself
Yes.
is what you're asking
Yes.
from the
So
competition.
they sometimes, when they do not interact with us or see us just by one ad, they do get confused. Like, how is it different from one Spark paid feature versus all these multimedia features that we are bringing in?
Yeah, I mean, I could say something there, Luke, because like even like hearing your pitch, like I am confused, on the difference there, and I would say like the number one mistake that you're making is everything relates down to how much money are you bringing that company, and so you have to like if you have cases that the people that love you that you're working with that are 15 years in the business, if they're praising you, if they're sticking, your retention rate is really good with them. There's a reason behind that,
Hmm.
and that reason is money. And so, like, you have to, when you go to your sales pitch, show how the differentiator, how it relates to bringing you more business as the consumer you're selling to, right? The
Hmm.
business owner that you're selling to. And I don't have clarity on that as you're, making the pitch. Like, I don't know any of the terms, that you're spouting out. And so I would say you just have to relate it back to the money. Like, how much money are you making them more than these other companies are making the business owner?
Yeah, usually how it flows is if you can share, maybe you have it, maybe you don't, but if you can share, this is what our average client sees
Hmm.
versus the comparable, right? The comparison, and then outlay why, right? And you've seen this in tech. Tech does this a lot where it's like the features you get with us, check, 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 check. And this one, it's like check, check, X, red X. They don't have this feature, right? And you see these comparables. That's normally how like these squeeze pages or lead pages try to showcase that. Like to give you a comparable for like, I think it's like Tom Ferry or Brian Buffini, they'll say our average client makes, $400,000 a year versus the industry average of 65,000. So they compare their coaching client to the industry. And that is the hook that brings people in to actually care about the differentiator of you writing the article for them, you doing the extra work. But to Steven's point, I don't care.
Right.
That you write it versus I write. Like as a business person, it's like all I care about is the result.
What's the
so, and if you're telling me it's a lot more expensive to go with you, I got to see that. Well, what's the result you're getting over the other people? And this is where, like, if maybe yours is not a quantifiable result because you're in a similar land of like branding is a
Yes, it's
hard
PR
thing to quantifiable.
and branding. So
Yeah, the way to do this, and you'll see this in real estate too. It applies to all real estate agents, financial service. It's you've got to do niche-based marketing and case study based. So, i.e., you got to think about your target audience. You said, I think consultants is one. And it's okay, consultants, that's a wider range. Do you work with a
um,
specific type of consultant?
yeah,
You know, and this is just as an example. I don't need to know the answer to it, but it's like you get really niche down on who you serve. So let's give this example in real estate. Do you work with first-time home buyers?
Yep.
Do you work with luxury real estate? Like you get really niche of who you're going after audience-wise, and then that allows you to craft. Let me give you a case study of, hey, are you a dentist? This is a dentist client that worked with us, and this is what happened with their business. And so maybe you can't have the easy, like hook based upon money, but you can do that same hook based upon niche drags you in. I'm a dentist in this local area, and I'm now seeing what this dentist
yeah,
did.
And I help
yeah.
with this and that
Yeah.
in this business. And then you get reviews, them praising you. So you've got a third
Yeah.
way to do it. All that.
Yeah, I think I think what you guys are saying is very much echoing with me, because of the time when I actually asked this question versus now, we have actually done that with with people who got featured with
Sweet.
us, so they got the digital.
How is that working for you?
It's working,
is it working?
yeah, it's working good because we had the testimonials, we had the digital verified badge, we had their press features. They got it. We had them featured at the Times Square. So yeah, they are seeing that, and so does our client.
Yeah. So it's just get really niche. Like I would have to pull up your site and take a look at your offerings. I can do that maybe later for
Yeah.
you. But it's like the hardest part in business is saying no to opportunity.
Mhm.
And the death of every entrepreneur is they just see the world as a blue ocean and they want it all. And I can think of Reminder Media. We said no to being integrated into CRMs for the longest time. You know why? because we wanted to build a CRM and we thought there'd be an opportunity for us with the CRM. And it's like, that is such short term. It killed us because now I've lost years and years of being integrated into the most major CRMs out there in the industry because I thought I was going to do a CRM at one point in time. Like it just was so dumb. And I can think of so many examples that, oh man, get niche, get really niche, master that niche. So maybe part of the problem is you got to look at your business and you got to go, where does my revenue actually come from? Does it come from consultants? Does it come from coaches? Does it come from, where does it really come from? And how big is that total addressable market? And if that's a big enough size, how does my reflection of copy when I go to my landing pages, my website, how does my reflection of email marketing, my ads that I run, everything that I do to promote my business speak to that one niche? We serve thousands and thousands of insurance agents, financial advisors, and 140 different other industries, but our biggest niche is real estate. So when you go to our site and we hear this complaint all the time, you think we're only a real estate company, but I still haven't changed that because guess what? Hey, my biggest niche is real estate and I haven't even mastered that yet. So I'm going to get all the other business. But every time I've tried to spread out to everybody too soon, it has killed our business. So I would just encourage you, Shravani, to get really niche in who you go after. And then your value proposition will resonate. When you confuse, you lose. When you confuse, you lose. And how you're describing it to us, you're losing, right? And that's to help you go, hey, how you just gave your 15-second, here's what we do. The three of us would not have known the difference. And I'm in the marketing space, and I still had to ask you to clarify, well, what's the difference? So that may be just because, you're on a show and it's hard to get out your thoughts, which is fair, but spend time on that. And we all are blessed right now in where we're at. ChatGPT, man. Jim and I use the AI, take exactly what you told us, go speak to ChatGPT on record mode, on voice mode, I should say, and go, hey, based upon what I've told you, how would you give a value proposition in 5 seconds based upon this? How would you? And that will help you a ton. But awesome question and very, very applicable to every entrepreneur out there.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, that is helpful. I think that is something we have been doing because this was more like something I did not do full time until this year. So I did not pay much attention on my own marketing because I had a lot of referrals coming in from the people who had worked with me previously. So all the things you're saying are not something I had consciously thought and worked on because people saw the value and they referred.
Right.
But now that I have to go and market myself with an ad, a Meta and Google, I have to feature on that ad with that niche that you were talking about.
Yes. Yeah, you got to define your niche because referrals are great. But if you want to grow to add to your bucket, you got to know who your ideal target audience is.
Ads like the open ads on Meta and Google, yes.
And then run your own campaign on yourself for that niche because now you have credibility of you use what you do. And that is the best way to sell people is to go, hey, it's like for us, I send thousands, 10,000 plus of my own magazines out to my list, right? It's like we're doing everything. Acre Brothers, the beautiful thing about Acre Brothers, we sell to the real estate industry. Stephen, my own brother got in and we do exactly what we teach people to do. And that level of credibility, when you say, oh, they've already closed 150 deals this year, that level of credibility, it's not perfect, but we live it. And that will bring people into your ecosystem and a trust that you can't get through marketing because people care what you do, not what you say. Yeah. Shravani, very, very awesome. Please connect with us on social because we'd love to connect more. But this is fantastic. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. You all have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too. Go out there and crush it. See ya. Yeah, great question. And I can tell like she has grown totally from referral, which is a credit to her, one, relationships, and then two, probably the value that she actually has. But there's difference between having value and communicating what that value is.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to be able to and you have to have different versions, a 10-second version, a 30-second version, a minute version to be able to share. And I've learned this over, doing interviews on podcasts and listening to them back and going, wow, Luke, you think you are clear, but you are confusing people on what you do. And because you're in the echo chambers when it's your own business, you're in the echo chambers of it. And you don't realize how much context you already have that you're not giving to people and the clarity of what you're doing.
And I like what we were kind of talked to as well. It's like so many real estate agents do this. It's like what you're doing is working, but there's no growth in it
Yes.
because you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a system behind it, or you don't know the niche you're going after to then make a system of. But a lot of real estate agents out there, and we talk to them all the time, are doing well, but like, I want to grow. We got to know your numbers. You got to know the system, the plan to grow your business. Because in order to grow, you're going to have to get systemized. You can do what you're doing now, but for growth is systemization.
Yep. So good. Guys, man, what a great show. So many great call-ins. If you want to get your answers, you want to get your questions asked, and I don't know what type of answers we'll give you, but we're going to give you answers from the trenches. We're going to give you answers from people who are actually doing it and try to point you to the resources that have helped us and, that will help you in your business. Go to remindermedia.com/ask. That's ASK, remindermedia.com/ask, or DM us on @StayPaidPodcast, and we will reach out to you and we will get you scheduled to come on the show. So we love meeting business owners all across the country that are suffering from the same things we have or are suffering from, and we can mastermind together. Let's make this the best place to help you grow your business. Stay Paid Podcast. Thank you for listening. To get all the show notes and to dive deeper into our resources and other episodes, go to staypaidpodcast.com. You can always reach out to me at Luke Acree on Instagram. I would love to connect. Stephen, Cody, where can they reach you guys?
Yeah, Steve, reach out to me on my personal Instagram. So Stephen __ Acree. So 2 underscores there. And we'd love to get questions there. We'll bring them to Luke and we can get on the podcast and answer some of those questions.
Awesome. Thank you guys as always for joining. Cody, what about you? Where can they reach you guys?
Cody_Smith.
Awesome. So all those links, we'll put those in the show notes. Really appreciate you guys listening. This show is brought to you by Reminder Media, our company. The goal is to empower you to live a life of freedom. So if you want to check out Reminder Media, go to remindermedia.com. Until next time, remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.